NBC News correspondent and host of Stay Tuned Now, Gotti Schwartz, is in Los Angeles, and NBC News legal analyst Misty Marris is here in studio. Gotti, we'll start with you on the ground there. Walk us through what happened in this court appearance and what comes next in this case.
It was a very, very brief court appearance. In fact, that video that you just showed, showing Alan Jackson and the two other lawyers there in court, his lawyers, what it doesn't show is right behind them there is this bench, and that is where Nick Reiner was sitting. We understand that he was wearing some sort of blue protective frock, but the lawyers asked the judge not to have their client shown on camera. And so that's why you're not seeing any of those images shown. The judge did say that the court proceedings could be broadcast by camera, but the defendant was not going to be shown. So when they look over there, they're actually looking at Nick off to the side. Nick was asked if he understood the proceedings. All he said was yes. And the bulk of the proceedings really centered around the arraignment. That arraignment has been pushed down. It was waived, and so it's now been pushed off to January 7th as Alan Jackson, his attorney, takes his time in building this case. Guys.
Misty, let me turn to you. We heard from Nick Reiner's attorney, Alan Jackson, outside the court briefly afterwards. He didn't say very much, except we'll be back in January. He's defended a lot of high-profile people. People might remember Karen Reed, that trial. Are you surprised that he's the attorney here?
You know, I'm not surprised to see, because he generally takes these high-profile cases. He's known as somebody who takes on the cases that seem unwinnable. A lot of people have been asking, I mean, he's an expensive attorney. He's got a team with him. How is Nick Reiner paying for his defense? And we don't know. And it's important to note that he could have access to personal funds. He could have had a trust that he has access to. We know he wrote a movie that was also directed by his father. But there is something in California called the Slayer Statute, which precludes someone who killed another person from benefiting from their estate, could potentially apply for trust. So it's something that potentially others in his family who are beneficiaries could contest his access to certain funds down the road.
And Gotti, back to you for a moment, because we also just got a statement from Jake and Romy Reiner, two more of the couple's children. What did they say?
It's a heartbreaking statement from two people that are dealing with something that is so horrific. They say words cannot even begin to describe the unimaginable pain we are experiencing every moment of the day. The horrific and devastating loss of our parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner, is something that no one should ever experience. They weren't just our parents, they were our best friends. They go on to express gratitude for all of the condolences and all of the support they are receiving. And they also ask for people to have compassion when they see what is going to happen and they see what has happened to their family. Notably, though, in that statement, they do not make mention of their brother, Nick. That family extremely close. They had been through so much together, but notably absent in their words anything about their brother, who is now accused of killing both Rob and his wife, Michelle. Guys.
Gotti Schwartz, Misty Marris, thank you both.